Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome back. How is everyone today? I feel like I need to get back in the swing of things. Hey, Lars, Tintalon. Hey, Derek and Martin, James and 1066. Hey, Joey. How are folks? Wonder how much we're going to actually get done today. Because I'm not really ready, but we'll figure it out. Hey, Andrew. Ooh, hopefully everybody saw the notification. I probably should have done a little more on that, but it's been a week of recovery. Hey, Scope. Hope Resender was even looking straight at the camera when you went live. Awesome. Hey, Mike. Oh, boy. So today we are going to continue to what extent we can and what makes sense on the Reaper build. Let me get this thing set up. But I fully expect to take advantage of going over my China trip as good filler. So we won't finish this today. Who do we got? Hey, Bob. Good morning. Keith and Thomas and Rick. Yeah, China trip was pretty awesome. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to dive into this 3DSets build here and scatter some China talk in there, some trip talk. But we can go over some pictures from the trip towards the end of stream. That way we focus on the main topic of today's stream, and anybody who doesn't want to stick around to go through some pictures won't feel like they need to stick around if they want to really capture some Reaper content. Hey, Thomas and Rick. Hey, Wojecki. Hey, Aquas. Cats are all over the place. They have missed the shop. They were ready to come out here this morning. So yeah. I need to get my own self kind of caught up on where did we leave off on this thing. I think I just set the seats in here as a filler for pictures, but we have to do some wiring. And last time we were really struggling with this bed. They've got some extra tight clearances here that are a little too tight in my opinion. So, hi Jose. So yeah. Hey Tuxedo. Lots of coffee. So although for my trip, I feel like I did really well for sleep schedules. On the way there, we arrived late afternoon on Sunday and got to the hotel and cleaned up and I was asleep by like 10 local time. 10 p.m. local time. Got up at 6:30 the next morning, and that continued. I didn't feel like I had any jet lag on the way there. I was on sleep schedule, on track, and somehow on the way back it worked out the same. However, I can't say I don't have any jet lag because it has been a tiring week, but my sleep schedule has been normal. So what else do we have here? Hey Tuxedo. Hi Jose. What are you doing, Felix? So I did get some my sinuses got angry there. I didn't get sick, but I think between the smog and people smoking in more areas there and the dry air on the airplane and stuff really did a number on my sinuses. So that's what you're hearing. I don't feel bad. It's just my sinuses have got me. So my sinuses will go crazy when they get disrupted. So yeah, so I will sound like a cold. I may have to mute myself to blow my nose, that kind of stuff through today. Still clearing everything out, but I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah, so we got to figure out where we're at. We had just installed the V8 engine, I think, and I think I'm going to end up needing to sneeze occasionally. Sudden sneeze. Hey, Jordan. So we had installed the engine. We had installed the bed. The rear lights are on there. Through all this. Got that. I mean, that was not as easy as the pictures say. I think just lack of sleep leading up to going and coming is what contributed to me being able to fall asleep at the right times. So I wasn't going to put the NOS bottles in. I may change my mind later, but I like a cleaner build. So we're going to skip that. We got rear bumpers and stuff. But I think what we really should be looking at is seeing if I'm ready to do wiring. Thanks, Jose. Let's see, this is back to working. This wasn't working when I was on Daniel's stream working on the Tic Tac. Oh, I'm sorry, Felix. Hold on a second, guys. I've got to apologize to a cat. I just stood on his tail. I'm sorry, buddy. Sorry. I got a hiss out of that. I don't know if anybody heard that. Pre-gaming some sleep deprivation. Yeah, it just worked out just right. Yeah, I got his the tip of his tail. So I was looking for parts here. Got the receiver we're gonna use. I thought I had some receiver wire in here. Oh, now Oscar is feeling jealous of the walking around. Hey, Brent. Hey, Randy. Okay, let's see. Where did... Uh-oh. Maybe it's in here. That's not reading stuff. Where is a box of Reaper electronics? It's Tic Tac stuff. Uh-oh. Oh, maybe it's over here. Nope. I need to up my labeling game on these random boxes. Glad it wasn't hot there. First time I went was in the 80s at night. Humid, and the air quality index was worse than when we had a bunch of wildfires here. Yeah, the smog in... So rating the 3 cities I saw Shanghai, Shenzhen, and Beijing. Beijing seemed to have the heaviest smog, then Shanghai, and then Shenzhen. Temperature-wise, Shanghai was probably in the mid-50s peak. I way overpacked for warmth. I wore my Voron hoodie at the most while I was there, and I had a heavier jacket and another heavy shirt with me that just took up space in my bags. So, what in the world? I apologize. I thought this stuff was all in one little spot. Ah, there it is. Okay. Andrew, thank you for the super chat. Just letting you know I finished my pancake printer. Nice. I got serialized Your guided feedback pushed me far enough to complete it. I'll leave photos in Discord. Very, very nice. Thank you. Let me diagnose some things on my Trident. Nice. Hey, Raj. Thank you for being a member for 6 months. Okay, we have our, so this has already been wires extended. Oh, we need to put, oh, and I found these. That's what we were missing last time was the XT60. XT30? XT60. That's what we're missing, and I know where they are, so. Okay. I have got a bunch of, I am prepped for future builds. I have a big motor here. I have, that's an empty box. I have an unopened, the heavier current speed controller. That's for this motor. And I was placing an order on AliExpress, so I have two more brushless 30 amp controllers for future builds. Hey, Steven. Go to work today, so just a quick hello. Well, nice to... Thanks for stopping in. Okay, I think that... Got your an hour behind us. Oh, hi, Collie. Yeah, our time change would have... This is the second stream since the time change. It's been 6 weeks since we were on this build. And I realize I don't like to do these streams on a weekend after I don't stream, because that means that a bunch of gifted memberships fell off. I'll have to remember that in the future. A bunch of gifted memberships fell off. So there were probably people who got gifted memberships who never got a chance to see a live member stream. Okay, where did... Yeah. So I have a bunch of XT60s with the little strain relief, well, not really strain relief, but wire cover and the thing. Now I have them in black and I have them in yellow. So I think I'll just go with the black one. Lately, my orders tally take forever to ship to Canada. Weeks, literally. Wow. I know my most recent LE orders have been ridiculously fast. I think that's the side I need. Double check. They are ready. He is wanting treats. You're not feeling good? How was the trip? Hey, the GPs. I'm feeling fine. I do have, my sinuses got angry on the trip from just stuff. Hey, Bill. Just smog and smoke. They don't allow smoking indoors. At least that's what I was told. They don't allow smoking indoors there, but their definition of indoors is much looser than here in the States, and especially here in California. Like if you're a foot outside of a door, outside of a building, you're free to go. If you're in a parking garage, you're free to smoke. If you're any number of places. The PCB fab factory we went to that Big Tree Tech uses, their stairwell is at the ends of the building and has windows there. And that's their smoking area. And we use that stairwell to get between the floors. And that was, what was I looking for? I'm looking for a... That is correct. Okay, just verifying. Wanted to ease my mind on what polarity XT60 we needed to grab here. Come on, over here. Over here. Hey, Mark. And just allergic to China. I had a good time. I had a really good time. I enjoyed my trip very much. I am, oh, that's right. I know where that is. That's the other thing I was missing, was I couldn't find my heat shrink tubing. So now we know where it is, so we can actually put appropriate heat shrink tubing on all of this. So this is what we can do right now. Get this all set up. Oscar is curious, but Oscar is curious when I'm going to give him treats. That's the extent of his concern right now. He's saying, when's treat time? Is it treat time yet? Can I have treats? Is it treat time yet? It's nice to see all three all hanging out with Big Tree Tech, learning any new stuff along your way. Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot about China and a lot about the manufacturing process that they use for their PCBs. The show was interesting. So the big premise was to attend TCT Asia. And then beyond that, visiting the Big Tree Tech facilities. And the show itself was not, I mean, honestly, nothing special. The TCT Asia was very, very similar, if a little smaller than Formnext. And maybe slightly larger than Rapid TCT in LA. That or Felix time. Feel your pain with smoke. When I left the US, Cali for Germany in '99, they were still smoking in restaurants there, and I was furious. Hell yeah. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? I know. So the show, there wasn't really, I couldn't tell you that there was anything I saw there that I wouldn't have seen anywhere else. Nothing brand new, whatever. But it was fun. The biggest thing I got out of the show was meeting in some of the Voron enthusiast community in China, because they don't get to, there isn't a lot of cross communication between the US community and the China community. So, and it was very obvious that many people were very excited, and they were excited to talk about their builds. Many of them spoke enough English to be able to get through and chat about it. And those that didn't, we had people there that were able to interpret. We did that YouTube stream the first day we got there. We like walked up to the booth and started streaming basically. And that was the first day. And the second day, there was a stream on Bilibili, which is the China streaming service that that was hosted by one of the larger tech content creators there in China. And that was fun. There was a few other creators from China there, and there was questions coming in from their stream that we went through and answered and talked about. So, the film Voron Chinese community really like nodding. Seen a few builds on, really like modding. Is that what you meant? Oh, yep, there you go. Seen a few builds on Discord. Yeah, they do. Yeah, Formnext is huge, Martin. Formnext was a good show. How much time do you spend in cars going to and from factories? Really the only factory we had time to see, because we were there Sunday through Thursday in Shanghai. So Monday through Wednesday was a show. And then Wednesday night we went to central Shanghai and went up the Pearl Tower and did a little sightseeing there. And then Thursday morning we went to an older area of Shanghai and walked around the little village there. And we didn't get to to Shenzhen until late on Thursday. So that left us Friday, basically, to tour the Big Tree Tech stuff. And then Saturday we went to the Shenzhen markets. And then Sunday we left. So we only saw their PCB fab. We had intended to try to get out to their CNC facility, but their headquarters is in downtown Shenzhen, or more central Shenzhen, and the PCB fab facility they use is about an hour out of town. So that was our traveling there. Okay. Hey, Carpet Streams. Let's get a little bit of work. Those. Nodding. Where did my solder go? Where did the solder go, guys? I feel like someone knocked it off, because it's usually right there. Did we knock it off the floor? Did we knock it off onto the floor? Put it over here. The solder is usually right here. What you do with it? Oscar is right there. He's just being a good inspector. Solder is right there. Where? Projects. I got my 2.4 inspired Trudon 2.0 upgraded and printing again. Nice. Where, oh where is the solder? There, besides the other thing. Oh, let me see. Did we drop it down here, guys? I don't see it on the floor where it would have dropped, which means I must have placed it somewhere. Oh, that's a really interesting. I have had that roll of solder for quite literally probably close to 20 years. I think it's a treat. Where is that? Okay, well, let's see. I don't actually know. I probably have some solder in here. And it'll be a good opportunity to show this because it's kind of neat. I don't remember their name. The guy who the Chinese creator that hosted the stream on the Billy stream. Oops. But they made these little printed cases, which is really, really well done. And they gave us these little soldering iron kits. And it's a little T65 soldering iron. But what it does have in here is some solder. So very neat little kit here, especially for white. Very well printed for white. Neat little setup. But you know, I think this. I think this goes in here, and then you get a little holder, however that goes. Yeah. I'm not going to use this iron right now. I'm going to use my trusty Weller, but I'm going to pull the, hopefully this comes out here. I'm going to use some of the solder. What is this? I don't know what this is. Oh, it's flux. Oh, interesting. That's hard. I think that's flux. Anybody know what that says? And then a little sponge can go in here. Is that a printed case? It is. It is. It's a very well done, very well printed. Yeah. Dip the hot tip. Ah, you have to use a lighter or a heat gun on it. Good. Okay. But this will get us going. Hey buddy, I'm gonna take my chair back. Okay. So immediately getting some use here. That's rosin flux. Yeah, I've never used it where it's hard like that. Yeah, this is rosin core solder. So. Oh, there we go. I need to get serious about making a little solder fume setup, because this is going to be great for my sinuses. I do hold my breath. Can also mix it with IPA. Get a good tin on that. If you weren't here when I was talking about it earlier, the plan is to work on this a bit today. I don't know if I'm going to go super long today. We'll make some progress on this, hopefully get the wiring done. And towards the end of stream, I'll probably pull up my iCloud account and scroll through some pictures from the trip. So if you want to see some pictures from the trip, they will be, we'll go through that towards the end of the stream. That way, if folks that are really here for the RC content I won't take up too much time with trip content. Flux is in the solder, but it's always nice to have extra flux. One of the secrets to success with soldering is making sure that you're adequately cleaning and using flux as part of that. So helps things flow better. Flux is just tree sap, well, resin flux. Maybe design so I can, my Frax flex arm. That was actually a thought that came up, Tuxedo. I don't know if it was you or whoever that's come up before as an option for using that and kind of being able to position a fan somewhere. Hey Ella, are you having fun at 3D Meetup? It sounds like it. Okay, these have printed on them. Oh, that actually came through. There's a plus and minus, positive and negative. So we'll follow that. It's been a blast, that's awesome. A little bit in there. Turn it over the other way, since the pocket's kind of to the side on these. Go. I think it's the negative side, so we'll leave that to the side and leave our, oh, nope, 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 nope. Heat shrink. Although heat shrink isn't super required here, this shield will keep anything from being able to short it out, and they're far enough apart here. There's not really any chance of things shorting out, but I'm gonna put heat shrink on here anyway. Got to see the Bondtech index up close. Feels really polished. That index looks really interesting. I'm very, very anxious to check it out closer. I won't be at Rapid in Detroit to see it there, but at some point I hope to check it out. One thing I noticed from your video, Ella, that you posted on the Discord is umbilical management looks pretty interesting. It looks like it might be a little, it might take some thought and work to be able to enclose something like that. But their thing looks, I mean, Bondtech does a good job. I met Olaf in person at Rapid in LA. He's always been a super nice guy. So I'm really looking forward to, this shield does go on before soldering, Bob. I've got it in my hand. I probably would have forgot had you not helped me remember though. I'm not kidding. I would have forgot. One of the nice things about this OmniFixo is you can do things like grab this, help stabilize, grab it with another clamp and help stabilize the thing. You have any photos? Oh, Bondtech wasn't at TCT Asia. They're at 3D Meetup Sweden right now, and that's where Ella is. So, really, the coolest thing I got out of TCT Asia was of meeting the Chinese community members, but also being able to meet like some of the vendors I work with. Mello was a big one. Mello was there, and they don't tend to show up at the other shows, but they were there, and finding out the person I've been communicating with in Discord is their CEO. So so it was nice to interact with them and check things out. They had their, so we went over the M1, their little small printer, that little machined aluminum brick. And some of the interesting things that we talked about there is how you can't really tell what is the front of this thing. You got a tool head display going one way, you got the main display going the other way, and then you got a power going out in some weird direction. So their M2 has everything lined up. So So power goes out the back, displays point towards the front. So, okay, I got all of that. So let's turn this thing over now. Oops, turn that off. Hey, PF Dennis, welcome. It has been about 6 weeks since we've done one of these, so. And I forgot to make the last one public. I didn't really I remembered that earlier today, and every time I make it public on the day I'm going live, I get comments of people. It seems like they think the comments there are the live stream. I don't know. Okay, so I'll make it live after this. I do need to do something with the insert tips, don't I? Okay, that is all soldered up. Heat shrink up through here. Up and snaps onto the end there. Okay. Don't think we're done with that, but the next thing I want to do is get some of these heat shrinks on the, so we have blue. It's a big enough piece of blue. Something like this maybe. Bigger piece of blue. Might not have bigger piece of blue there. Let's see, we want that to be about that long. Let's see if we can stretch it. See if we can stretch it. Hey, Martin. I don't know if I'll be able to stretch this one. I have some bigger stuff, but I feel like it's probably quite a bit bigger. So I was hoping to stretch this, but it might be a little long to stretch. Let's see if that'll work. Blue is right here. That's not quite. Let's see. Might be a stretch. Hey, Poity. Welcome. Ruthex heat insert tips. I don't know what Ruthex is. I don't know what Ruthex is. Nah, that's gonna be too much work. I'll grab my other thing of heat shrink. Where is it? Hold my nose real quick. Yeah. That's the brand name. Most of the heat set insert tips I have are all CNC Kitchen. Most. I have some generic ones off of Amazon for my Weller. This is the same size as that. So I think the next size is this. Piece of that. Those in there. That's where you put your solder. And what other colors we need? Yellow. So piece of yellow. And we'll go red instead of that orange because I don't have orange. Look at that. They are fitting just fine in their bed still when they decide to share. So this, we want to shrink that right to the end. Like that. This one is red. Yep, that's yellow. The BTT tool changer looks like a hybrid between multiple direct and Bowden heads. Are you thinking the Bondtech? Are you thinking Bondtech there, Bill? Big Tree Tech has their AFC style thing. They're Vivid, which I got a good look at. But Bondtech, the index is pretty cool. I don't know that Bondtech doesn't traditionally go to any of the rep festivals. So, no worries. Loving all this info coming from the stream. No worries. Today is expected to be a very squirrely stream. Basically, hang out, make progress on the Reaper, and chat about stuff. There's a little printed spool, too. Okay, so this is basically done, I think. Oh, we can take these off now. I left those on there so I would remember what colors they were. Although for this, it doesn't really matter. You change directions of the motor by swapping any pair of those. They're gonna be at Formnext this year. It's like the spool on my printer solder dispenser. My 200-mile-per-hour RC plane flight ended with my motor coming apart at about 135. Wow. Wow. Let's set that over there. This here. Truck. So this is going to be fun, kind of figuring out how all of this goes in. Got a switch holder there. Got our motor wires here. That switch holder, we've got to figure out how it goes around the switch. So does that screw in from the bottom? No, it screws in from the top. Does it now? Okay. So let's get some VHB on the bottom of that. Where's the VHB? I saw the VHB right here somewhere. Where did I see that VHB? I saw it yesterday while I was out here kind of doing some little, there it is. Gonna go for pizza. See you, Ella. Thanks for stopping by. Side of this. Clean the inside here while I'm here. Hi, Kobe. Welcome. A little bit of cleaning over here. And then the back side of this guy. So I had bought the 5-channel receiver, because we're going to need 4 channels. I think it's 4 channels for this build. I caught just sinus crud. I never, no fever, nothing like that. No anything that would indicate I actually got sick. It's all just sinus fun. Dry air, particulate air, that kind of stuff. Oh, look at them being nice. Okay, oops, I need a little VHB on this. I did buy a new device, very appropriate here to check out. So part of setting this up, especially in things like the lowrider servos and stuff. Oh, and I wanted to change something here. let me see if I have the parts to do that, is centering servos before you install them. Centering servos before you install them. And I bought this thing. This is, oops. What's this thing? Let's see, power off. Hack, it goes by so quick. Hack make mod. Let me bring this up. Oh, here we go. Hack make mod. This guy, Servo Buddy. Super simple device. You plug in a servo or a speed control and it'll cycle through the various angles, the extremes. So it'll go 45 degrees, 0 degrees, and the other 45 degrees. Sinus inflammation caused by pollution. Yeah, pretty much. Dry air, you know, in general, my sinuses just got irritated. Dougal, I'll come back to your question. My Radio Master MT12 and all electronics to build a torque arrived this week. Awesome. Just need to print it and wait. Starts that one so I can build along at the same time. I don't know when I'm going to start my torque build. I need to start printing it, but I feel like I don't want to monopolize these streams with 3DSets builds. I very well could. I have enough content for probably over a year of Charlie's Angel streams, just doing 3DSets models. But I don't know if that's what you folks want. So, I thought it was just sinus stuff yesterday, then overnight it got much worse. Tested positive for COVID about 3 hours ago. Oh, that's not fun, Martin. I've not had any indication of lung or fever or anything other than just here. So I think I'm okay there. Thank you, Kobe. Appreciate that. These are really fun builds. I'm on a mission now, building Bugster right now. Awesome. I have bits of a lot printed. I got parts of the Skippy boat printed, parts of the buggy printed. I'm reprinting the Sandy because I want to redo the suspension on that one. I think I can do it better. I bought some different shocks I want to try. So, favorite meal. Probably what I have to say my favorite meal was the last meal. Big Tree Tech hosted us at a restaurant. We had a private room in the back, a hibachi style chef there cooking everything in front of us. We had a whole, I'll go through the pictures. You'll see a bunch of pictures from that at the end of this stream. So anyway, this Servo Buddy, that's what this is. And let's grab a servo if I can find one real quick. There we go. We just have a random servo here, and let's see. Find a servo horn that we can throw on it. Over here. Oh, there they are. Anyway, so just a random cheap servo. These are the little shorter servo horns I linked in the stream chat or the RC chat for that seem to work well on these models. So this thing, oops, a little bit more. So if we turn this on, it's scanning. So it is smart enough to know you can plug this in any way, and you can plug a speed controller in any way, and it makes the correct connections internally. So let's do this. Let's force this thing off to the side. And if I plug this in, It will now say it's a servo. I can hear something. Something's wrong with this servo. Because I can hear it trying to do something and it's not actually moving. This is a random servo I grabbed. Let's grab another one. That could just be a bad servo. It's not behaving properly. So let me see if I can find another. This is just one that was in this box. Nope, not that box. I have a bunch of the little, good, there they are. There they are. That is. Little servo. I think this is, oh no, that's not the same, but it has some servo horns in here. So if we throw this thing on there, turn this off to the side. Hey Rod. Turn this back on, plug this thing in. That's a servo. There we go. You can cycle through the, so on 0 here, pull the horn off now and center it. You can cycle through the, so now one thing I had just bought, so something I need to check out their support forum on. I had just bought a servo, so I think this might have some limitations, this little tester. So I had bought this Hobby Star servo. It's actually from a local place here in the Sacramento area. RC Juice. Nope, that's not it. That's this is a, I couldn't find my preferred turbo motors. So this local place sells this Hobby Star brand, and it's a nice black. I like the black motors. This is another motor for whatever project, whatever 3DSets project. But I had bought a servo, here it is, from them as well, the same Hobby Star brand. And this one, when I plug it in, this is a high voltage servo. Means it'll go up to 7.2 volts, I think. Hey, Francois. Let's throw a horn on here. But when I plug it into the device, I think it's pulling too much current. Yeah, see, it resets it. Even though it's working, it's working, but it does reset it. So I need to figure out why. So this is technically a beta, as you saw on the product page here. So I knew that going in, and it's not very expensive, so I wasn't too worried about trying it out. It's a really cool little device, but anyway. So, did I show any of that on camera? Yeah, I think I did. Okay. Hey, Stuart. Welcome. Anyway, that's something I've gotten since we did all the install of this stuff here. So I purchased on AliExpress another servo testing device. I don't know where it is though right now. I don't know where it is. It does battery and servo testing. Do I have it right here? No, I don't know where it is. We'll check it out next time, I think. I haven't even actually plugged it in. Okay, so that is that. So now we can get this thing in here. There we go. Let's see. So we've got this guy, and this has to go in. Let's see if there's an indication in the instructions on how that goes in. I think it was further back where we installed the electronics. They had us doing it way back here. Yeah, right here. So that's how that goes in there. Through there, through there, through there. Oops. Hey, Stuart. I said, hey, a second ago, huh? See any odd things at the shops? Nothing especially odd. We went to the Shenzhen marketplace, which is very much like walking through the aisles of AliExpress. I was a little disappointed, and I know this covers a very large area, so we probably maybe just didn't see the right spots, but I would have liked to have seen areas with more little electronic gizmos and gadgets that weren't power bricks and LED strips. I mean, we went to one area that was just a whole floor of just LEDs. We went to a whole building of phone cases. It's like you just kind of skim that and try to move on and try to find other things. A big thing right now are those little compact high power fans. That was all over the place, like what Jeff Geerling just showed on his second channel. Little battery powered fan. Get that voice thing. Good job, Bob. So that was, there were a couple of things I did on the trip that if and when I go back, and I hope I do, I'd like to go back, I won't have any desire to do again. The bullet train. We took a bullet train from Shanghai to Shenzhen, and we all wanted to do that for the experience. It was a 7-hour bullet train ride, and several of those hours were after dark. So, but we did see quite a bit of China countryside at the beginning part of the trip, and I got some pictures of that. And it was a very cool experience. It reached a peak of about 350 kilometers per hour. But I wouldn't be seeking out doing that again. The Shenzhen market is another one. It was cool to see. If I had something going there that I was gonna look for, a specific thing, I wanna go and get this, and I knew I could find it, then I'd go back, but just to browse it, there's other things I think I'd rather do, other things I'd rather experience there. So, I'd probably, if I did look at going there again, I'd look at more of the guides. I know Naomi Wu did a guide on the Shenzhen market. I haven't actually watched that. I kind of want to, I'm going to go back and watch it post-trip. I should have watched it pre-trip. And I think there's a book on it or something. But doing a little bit of looking ahead of time might have been a good thing. Great Wall of China is just in a very different area than where we went. And if I go again, the premise will probably be to see more 3D printing companies and their facilities. Fadis had invited me at least, and probably Taylor, to go and look at their facilities that were only about half an hour from where we were in Shanghai. But we were there on Big Tree Tech's invitation and Big Tree Tech's, so we didn't feel that we could extend beyond that. They were our hosts, and they were great hosts. So, but it would be nice to go back on probably my own and have some more opportunities to see other things. I didn't get a chance to see LDO stuff, and I'd like to see LDO stuff. I'd like to see Fetus's stuff. I'd like to see Mellow stuff. Some of the companies that I deal with regularly. Okay, I am worried about this part. I want to get that out. I'm gonna have to do this in the printer, I mean in the body of this, but I want to see how this fits. Make sure it does fit. And how does that actually go in there? Where is the where is the screw for that? Oh, I need some light. How does that go together? So it is, oh, that's probably a, is that an M3? If that's an M3, I need this guy. Yep, that's an M3. This is going to be fun to put back in, but I really need to see how this is going to fit and whether it's going to break or not, just because of the way it's made. Okay. It's got this guy going in there, but so I have to put this all in the car. But I want to make sure that this. I remember trying to fit this in and not wanting to push it in all the way because it was okay. So that's looking pretty good once it gets past a little lip there. So I don't want to, because this was the bottom surface and that is a very thin spot. I don't want to break it. I wanted to check that out before I did it in car. I would love to see something like the Great Wall of China. It's just that the if I get back out there, the premise will be not in that area. Nice view of the side of my hand. Oh. Plan to do printer building using a more exotic material like annealed pet or something similar. Is there a, if there was a, what would be a use case? What would be, oops, shoot, it's backwards. What would be the use case? I can see things like tool heads. So now this has to go here. This goes across and this just kind of sits. So I think this has to come up between these so that this can set in there. Okay. So the problem with higher temperature chamber ABS with a 65 chamber. 65? You think it gets set at 65? I think it needs to be higher than that. The problem with some of these materials is they end up getting brittle, especially like polycarbonate. If you try to use polycarbonate in the for parts, I think you'd see a lot of parts starting to crack. Just a second. Felt like I was going to sneeze at the end of that. I got the plague. I mean, come on. Everybody's had congestion. You can feel fine with it. What I need there, the GPs, is maybe that's why they say 100C there's mechanical strength. Oh yeah, for sure. I agree. I'm not sure that that's at 65C. It could be. But the thing I need first is a printer that will reasonably go up to those spicier temperatures. Okay. I made a definite mistake when I was doing all this, saving this for now. Nope. Okay, so that fits in there fine. That goes there. This now comes around. This comes around. Needs to go in there. Oh. There. Now we can get that just sits in there. These go in this hole here. Which that hole is a little small. Fit all of those at once. So let's see if we can get. Now blends, which is lower in temp, good old, oh, for sure. Lots of blends out there. This is, I think I'm gonna have to pull this little strainer leaf I have a little further back. I mean, this little tie, a little further back so I can get these in here fewer at a time. Okay. Here, and it plugs in all there. Now, there is a zip tie spot right there. And is there a zip tie spot over here? No. So there's a zip tie spot right there. Okay. So for right now, we're going to match up the colors to the best we can. Just do. We may have to move these around once we get it rolling for motor direction. Those will plug in right there. That'll all go up out of the way, and we'll zip tie it over here. Hey, Schlocky. How are you? Okay. Speed controller is in there. Goes over there. Goes back up through there. Goes over there. And we've got... Okay, in general, someone can remind me what channel. So channel 1 is usually what? Channel 1, do we do steering or speed ESC on channel 1? Let's see. See if I can do a quick search. Then steering in channel 1. I always struggle with channel 1 and 2. What is typically default? We can configure them anywhere, right? Steering is 1 and throttle is 2 is the quick one result search I get. Yep, steering is 1 and speed control is ESC is channel 2. Channel 1 steering. Okay, that's what we'll go with. That is what we will go with. So this guy can go pretty much anywhere in there. All of these will reach. This one will reach. So let's just set that down in there. Yeah. So I wish there was more light. I need more light. Okay. Here's channel 1. So steering, which one was steering now? Oh, left front, steering. Low rider rear. I scraped the labels on them, so that's good. So this guy here is steering, and I have a second one of these receivers, so I'm going to grab it to look at the polarity on the connector. Okay, so signal is to the front. Signal is that way. I think. Check. Yes, signal is to the front. Ground is to the back. 5 volts is in the middle. So steering here. So I want to do rear in channel 4. Right there. Low rider front in channel 3. there. And then speed control. Oh, that is a tight fit. I should have moved that over. Let's see if we can stay. Where did it stick? Ah, it's stuck in the it stuck to the printed part before it stuck to the, better than it stuck to the receiver. It is a 5-channel receiver. Oh, there's probably room for lights. I have not prepared to do lights on this. Maybe we'll do lights on the torque. I feel like the torque is pretty well set up for lights too, right? Okay, let's do this again. But we're gonna move this to the far inside so I know I have room for the receiver to hit it. Okay, once again. Right or rear. Sorry for the wonderful blocked view, but oops. Light. Let there be light. Speed control. Steering. I still got to get in there to be able to pair it. Maybe we can do that soon. Yeah, let's do the pairing while we have things semi-accessible. Okay, so that's steering, ESC, and then front lowrider servo, and then rear lowrider servo. This weekend maybe a lighting upgrade in the office workshop. Nice. Radio and battery. What is this? This is a, oh no, I don't want to do that one. That's a 4S battery. I gotta see if I can find what do I have a 4S for? What was I gonna use a 4S for? What was I gonna use a 4S for? Okay, now where did I put my 3S batteries? Radio. To order a couple more batteries, a bit more beans. The speed control is only rated to 3S, so that's what I've been running them on them. I think the Sakura here might have its battery still in here. No, it doesn't. It does not. Okay. Where did I put the batteries for these things? So organized. Where in the world? Okay, I'm puzzled. Puzzled because I don't know where I've been putting this stuff. That's not good. The battery box I find is empty. Where did I put those batteries? Okay. I guess we don't hook it up right now because I have no idea where the batteries are. That is odd. I have no idea. I have no memory. I have no memory of this. No, it's not in Sandy. I have two smaller packs that should be with one of these cars or boxes. And I have no idea where they went. That really bugs me. That really bugs me when I have absolutely no memory of where something has gone. Oh well. We'll get it all sorted. I can get to that. So let's just move on. No pushing plastic today. Is it in the battery safe storage charging case? That is where it really should be, shouldn't it, Bob? This is a good opportunity to say that LiPo batteries are a very, very volatile thing to have just sitting around. Make sure that they are at the proper storage voltage, all that kind of stuff. I have not apparently done that well. They can turn into danger pillows for sure. They'll come to you when I stop thinking about them. Yeah. What I really need to do is really get serious about organizing things. Come, buddy, you put his paw out to me and caught his claw on my shorts. With my charger? Well, you're right, with the charger, and that's not the charger. Where is the charger? It's a great question. Where is the charger? Oh, hey. I might have just found it. Or at least found enough of it. I found the charger. Aha! There's the batteries. Okay. Okay, now the question is, here, give me 1 second. I want to take the opportunity to find that battery tester that I bought so we can plug this in and see what's up. I will be right back. I'm going to see if it's over in a handy spot. Found it. Woohoo. So Bob is very correct. Lipos are something that need to be taken seriously. Far more seriously than I've taken them. Found a couple of lipo pillows last weekend. Now stored in a bunker made from patio blocks with safety opening in case of a kaboom. They don't necessarily kaboom, but they do create a very, very serious fire. Okay, so I purchased this. It's Toolkit RC NC8 off of AliExpress. It was relatively cheap. I purchased this when I was on the search for a servo tester. Now, I knew about this thing, but I was not aware that they had a few extra to sell. The one page I had seen showed sold out because they had some serialized ones, serial number ones. And then after I bought this, I saw that there were like a couple of them left in stock. So I ordered one of them and got this. This thing is, let's see. No, there's no problems here with getting touchy on that, Bob. It's a serious subject. Absolutely serious subject. Anyway, this thing, it's got a little wheel, and this is for the servo testing. Got a battery input, and then your balance lead, and then servo input. I like this other one because it has batteries built in, just plug a servo in, very basic. This does one thing, well, two things. And this, to test servos, requires that the battery be plugged in. So I think we plug this in. So negative is at the end. That's indicating negative. You just plug this into the furthest over, and that comes up. And we are at a pretty relatively even voltage there. Hey, Jeff. I just have sinus congestion crap is all. No one that will accept damaged lipos? Really? Show a photo in Discord of a funny photo of my friends landing at 175 miles per hour. Wow. Okay, so I have no idea. Can I plug this in here? No. That plugs in there. And I think I could plug in the servo now. Let's try that. Just for fun, since this is measures the charge state of each cell. Yeah. But it's also supposed to be a servo tester. So let's see. So mode, voltage, measure, output. Oh, it does something. The thing about this one is there's no like, this is the center point. It's kind of neat. Hey, Martin, feel better. I need to look at the manual on this and see what. 2000, so at 1500, should that, if I just move this down to 1500, is that the center point? Yeah. So there we go. That should be centered. Here is showing our each cell's voltage on this pack. Output voltage measure. Yeah, I need to look up some more information on it, but looks like an interesting little. What is this? I don't know what that means. Anyway, RC gears works from 1,000 to 2,000. I had a question on that GPs you might be able to answer. So you have some servos that are like 270-degree servos or 180-degree servos, and most of them are 90-degree. Is that the same PWM signal between? Is it always 1,000 to 2,000? Is it always 1,000 to 2,000? And just that, so you would effectively have lower resolution on your higher angle servos, right? Put this back in the box. Thank you, Rod. Appreciate that. Is USB-C another power input or is it data? Good question. I know the other USB is output. It'll do 5 volts, 1 amp. Great question. Pretty sure 1,000, 2,000 is always the same. The amount of servo moves within that range can change, which would mean that if you have a higher, it's going to be lower resolution, right? Anyway, I think this will be enough to at least get us powered up and paired. This did come with a screen protector I need to put on, just a little scratch protector. How was your trip? Maybe you talked about it and you need to go back to the beginning. We're going to talk in a little more detail, just basically going through the pictures I took, Jeff, here in a little bit. We're not going to make a ton of progress on this. I think we've got it wired. If we can get the receiver paired and things moving, then we'll probably call it here pretty soon and just go into talking about the trip. This is a 3S, yes. This is what I use on these 3DSets cars. It's a small battery, doesn't have a lot of weight, but it lasts plenty of time. 1,500, 1.5 amp hours. These seem to work pretty well. This should be set at storage voltage. That's what I had hooked it up to the charger for last time I used it. Waiting on Linux support for what? So that should have, I'm hoping, enough to just power this up to get it paired. That way we can button this up and then it's just configuration beyond that. So we got our fancy controller. Pairing instructions. I think this might be in here. Oh, official manuals. It's just QR codes. Never mind. Don't show me this. This is way more radio than I feel like I need, but for the price, I don't see how I could justify buying anything else. It's a proper radio. Some of the cheaper radios, little things can be frustrating if it can't do something. Okay, pair Radio Master MT12 receiver. better than my Fly Sky Noble. Instruction manual, images, user manuals. How to bind. I don't want to look at it. MT12. MT12 user manual. Quick start guide. Batteries, warranty, model. Bind instructions. Turn off the transmitter. Cycle power to the receiver 3 times. The receiver LED will flash twice, indicating bind mode. Okay. Turn on the transmitter, long press the sys button and choose Express LRS. Scroll to bind and press enter. The LED on the receiver should now be solid, indicating a successful bind. Well, let's start here, actually. I want to turn this on.
Welcome to HTX. Stop.
And then we need to look at, that's not what I want. Hold down sys. Is that right? Hold down sys. Long press the sys button. Return. Model. There we are. Okay. Need to figure out which. So it has profiles here. I feel like I need to go into a profile first. And I don't know what I've set up before. I've got MT12, car 2, car 3. I need to name these. I need to go in and name them. It looks like I can do a lot. So let's just go in. I can redo this, but let's just set this up as actually, I want to set this up as car 2. I want the security to be car 1, this to be car 2. I can set other ones up beyond that. So let's leave this in car 2. Can I? No, I don't want to backup model. I don't want to move model. I want to rename model. Nope. Nope, return. We're in car 2. So let's go Express LRS. Can I rename this somewhere? There's bind. That's what I want. But is there a way to rename this thing? Go to a different page. Turn. Hey, Adam. How are you? I don't know what model match. What are we doing here? What am I doing? Have you dyno tuned this truck yet? Okay, well, let's just go to bind. That's where we're going to end up being, but no, let's turn this off. It wants us to be off. Okay, let's get back to here. So it says turn off the transmitter and then power on the receiver. I don't know if this is on or off, but I may want to extend these wires because this is going to get annoying. I may need to extend the wires on the speed control, which is definitely a drawback of these speed controls that they specify. That I've used every bit of wire I could. I may need to solder in an extension though, because I can't actually get this plugged in. There's not enough room for me to get my fingers around this. Yeah, I can't actually get a grip on anything to actually plug that in. There we go. See, that would go in there like that. Now, if I turn this on. So that should put the receiver into blinky bind mode. And then power on the transmitter. And we're in car 2. So now we long press that, go to Express LRS, and down to bind. There we go. It's bound. Whoa, okay. The channels are set up wrong. That's, apparently it works. Steering controls throttle, but things work. Just not quite right. We can change that later though. Okay, we will change that later. The big thing was getting this bound so I can put the seats and stuff in. I didn't know if I would have to push a button on here, is what all that was about. Hey Ryan. I just have sinus crud from the trip. I'm not sick. It's just congestion. Okay, so let's turn this off. And this needs to be extended. There's no way around that. I should do this sooner rather than later. Can I get in here and do it without pulling the speed control out? Yeah, I think I want to do that. Let's just do it right now. I don't like having to do this via solder splice, but I think that's what's going to have to happen. This is just too short to deal with. This needs to come out so I can actually plug it in out here. So, but as you see, let's open up one of these speed controls as they come. Straight out of the box have a very short power lead. So short lead was on the battery and the longer one on the ESC. Yeah. Yeah, and these batteries have relatively short leads on them. Let me see if I have enough of the correct gauge silicone wire to extend that. If not, then I'll order some wire. What do we have here? What is the wire? It is 18 or 16? 16 gauge. I don't know that I have 16 gauge. Short leads to minimize voltage loss. At this length, I can't imagine it being that big of a difference between adding another couple inches. This is 18 gauge. This is 16 gauge. Okay, I do have 16 gauge. So it's 16 gauge coming out of there. We're just gonna add, that came out there. We're just gonna add a few inches. That's all we need. So let's go ahead and cut this. I'm just gonna cut this here. Let's cut it right there at the 16 on the markings. There we go. Hey, buddy. I am rattling and getting Oscar all worked up, so let's not tease him too much and give him a treat. You want a treat? You want a treat? A treat? You guys want treats? You want a treat? Here you go. I can't completely replace them. They go down inside. I can't split the case on that. Go, buddy. I can't split the case on the speed control is the problem. Okay. Let me confirm. I think we looked at this before. I don't think there's a way to split the, it's sonic welded or whatever together. There's no screws. I'd have to break the case and glue it back together. That would be a great idea, but they don't make this serviceable. There's no screws. So I wish I would have committed to doing that before, because this is going to be a bit fiddly. Oops. There. Got this sitting here, and I don't know if I can easily pull any of this out. That cover off of it too. I have to use a smaller, here's my little screwdriver. Where'd that go? Here it is. There we go. Cut off. Shrink off. No. There we go. Now pull in the OmniFixo, which is going to be crucial for this, and heat things up. Hey, buddy. What's up? Okay, I need to get in here with something hot. So you go lay down there. More soldering. Yeah, it is. When I tried to plug in the battery in here, it was very evident that the leads on the speed control are far too short. Yeah. Flip this around. Go. Sweet. The cat restaurant. The cat bar was cool. I posted a picture in Discord of the cats that were there, and apparently some cool breeds were there. I focused on the Maine Coon. I like big cats. I've always liked big cats, but I'm not going to go out seeking specifically a Maine Coon. I like my little guys here, but hey, Arthur. Okay, so oops, we've got a short length that I am going to use, so I think we can get started. I want to leave this connected so it's a little easier to deal with here, I think, but I do have to pull it apart somewhat. Ragdoll Sphinx, the bald cats. This and this. I had a very large cat when I was growing up, so I think that's where my preference comes from. Put a couple of little pieces on to hold that together, kind of stitch it. Okay, so if we take this and we take the, let's see, another piece of short piece of this. Okay, so here and here. So I was at a car show years ago, and someone had a Savannah on a leash there. It was pretty cool. I have pictures of it somewhere. I found them not too long ago. Okay, now we can leave that off for right now. Get this heating up. Yeah, this Savannah was gigantic. That white one in the front on those pictures was a Maine Coon, right? Had the ears and it was relatively large. Look like a Maine Coon, yeah. They can be very vocal from what I hear too. This guy here, Oscar, he's starting to get a little vocal. Yeah. Okay, so let's get these cooled down. Kind of sink some of the heat away. Heat shrink, and this guy. So what do we have here? There we go. Positive. Go. The other side, check I'm correct. Got a thing for blue point Siamese. 3 of them. My latest one is tiny compared to the previous ones. Yeah, we had a Siamese, not a blue point, but a Siamese growing up in Kuma. It was a nice cat. My grandma was always fan of Siamese. Oops. Get that over there. This here. Get some extra solder in here to help heat transfer. Get in there. Ah. Did I turn this off? Oh, I turned it off. I was wondering, why is this not melting? That's not a Maine Coon. What is it? What is it, Tuxedo? I mean, it has the pointy ears. I mean, there we go. It works so much better when you actually have the iron on. Disney made me dislike. You don't like We Are Siamese, if you please? Okay. Get our heat shrink in here. Ow! Hot. Elongated jaw. Is that what makes it not a Maine Coon? Oh shoot. Bob, you didn't do your job. You didn't do your job. Oh well, okay, well, we'll just put some heat shrink over this to hold it together because I don't want to redo that. Just split those. Bob didn't do his job. Blame Bob. Just doesn't look like it did in person to me, but I'm not an expert, so I could very 100% be wrong. We'll see a picture of it here again. Distracted by your wife's stream. That's probably acceptable. Those even. And then we'll just put this on here like this. There we go. Okay. Now I need more. So we're gonna need pieces to hold these together. So let's put a couple of these on here. These are just, instead of continuous heat shrink on, oh, excuse me, holding it on there, I just put a little stitch it together. Okay, so let's get in here with our, and then we need individual heat shrinks. Or got some heavier duty stuff, or this stuff. Let's see. Appropriate heat shrink pieces. This is too small. Yeah, won't go over. You did not hear Oscar meowing. I didn't hear him meow anyway. Nothing in there. Where did my box of heat shrink? Box of miscellaneous lengths. It's supposed to be in there. I think these will work. Yeah, my only indication there, Tuxedo, was the tufts. And that just shows my lack of actual knowledge. So I don't, like I said, I don't know. I really do like this OmniFixo though. Just the flexibility in how I can connect things to it is just so handy. Go to China for 2 weeks and now you can't find anything. How you doing, Scott? Scott, you're killing it on the content. Keep it up, man. If anybody hasn't seen Edge of 3D's content, he's doing a lot of trying to test like strengths of printed parts and with actual testing gear and stuff. It is good stuff. Good tin on this. Make sure it flows all the way into that. This high strand count silicone insulated wire takes a bit of heat on this heavier gauge stuff, but if you see that, I don't know if you can see, it's flowing really well right there. So I'm getting all the way down into that. Now it will wick up if you're not careful and you end up with a high, what do you call it? A point where it can break, but stress point. So you got to be careful there, but I want a good solid bit of wire here for our this connection. Since I'm not going to do anything fancy, I'm just going to solder these right next to each other. Okay, now that has to stay there. Let's see if I can get any better view here. There we go. Get both of these melted well. Go. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with that. Let's see if we can get in here. Look at that. That's a good blob of solder there. And then we'll get this heat shrink, a big piece of fairly thick. I think this might even be the I think this is even the adhesive lined heat shrink. It's got basically hot glue in there. That's just what I happen to have. Okay, this other one might be a little more challenging, but it won't be too bad. Oh, yeah, that should be okay. It's just... a bigger concern is going to be melting this heat shrink without melting the car. Okay. I don't feel as good about that one. I don't feel like I have as much actual solder in the joint. Let's get some blob in there. There we go. Nice and shiny. Let's see it once I get it free up here. Yeah, that's good. Okay, let's try this. Is that gonna work? Let's try that. And what else can we put in here? I'm looking for a little something to heat shield from the car when I blast this with hot air. Let's see if I have something else around here that will act well enough as a... Hey Liz, welcome. See what I can use as a heat shield. Something I can fit in there is the thing. I'd even be able to use just like a piece of, I think a piece of cardboard or anything to just kind of shield everything away. Go. Let's go here. Get this preheated. Okay. That one is good. Make sure this one is mostly centered. Silicone tube for the heat gun. Somewhere. Yes. But I think this will be good. I'm just looking at avoiding the direct blast. Yeah, that didn't get all that hot. Okay, so those one soldering and brazing pad. Okay, so we'll do that right there. This heat shrink's a lot thinner. It doesn't take as long to melt down. It's just that something like that and that. That adhesive line stuff is a lot thicker. Okay, this is going to be way better. I can, oops, this one. Now I'll be able to get in here and actually get some there. Look at that. And that'll set in there, something like that. As long as the cover will go on. Cool. There we go. Much better. Much better. Now we'll see if the seats fit in there, I think. There we go. Okay. What time is it? We've been going at this for a little over 2 hours. It doesn't seem like we've made a lot of progress because we haven't actually turned a screw on this, but it is hooked up. I'm going to put that zip tie in there holding things in the bottom here after we make sure that the wire, the motors are correct once we get the controller configured correctly. So let's see at what point we put the seats in. When did it have us putting the seats in? Here we are. So it looks like M3x8 going in from the bottom. So let's go ahead and put the seats in. And I think we will turn a screw on the RC card on the main thing today. So I don't like the way these sit in here. The single screw, it doesn't seem like it's not very positive, the seats, but I think that doesn't really matter. Okay, that goes in there, and then there are just 2 screws up from the bottom. So this guy in here. Hope that everything, yeah, looks like it does okay. M3x8. We're talking about explosive pillows, batteries. Since 2020, we're gone to one-to-one devices at school. Now got 5-year-old Chromebooks that are pushing themselves apart. Oh yeah. It is a decorative part. No need for strength. I know. It just doesn't sit very well in there. I feel like they could have done a little different job with that. there it is. There we go. Okay, it has seats, it has electronics, it is all hidden in there. Can I get to the switch? Oh yeah, switch is nice and easy to get to. Can you remind me which brand and color filament it is? So this is a special filament. Bob here had this made. It is from Proto-Pasta. You can't get it unless you attend one of their filament events. So it's basically a Blood of My Enemies red with a black glitter in it. But it is an HTPLA. The black, I think, is all Prusament Galaxy black, or what is the Proto, or the Jesse? It might be Jesse. I don't remember where it is. Their glitter black, soul glitter black, I think is what they call it. So, okay, let's switch over. That is the progress we are going to make. Next stream, which might be in a couple of weeks. I want to get this done. Soul black glitter, there we go. I do want to get this build done. We will be on to, we finished all this. We're basically at this point here now, except the roll bars are in. We're basically at this point. So I need to put on the bumper, and then we're gonna get into doors. So we'll be putting the doors on next stream, and probably getting pretty much to the point of finishing it up. There's a potential for finishing this in one more stream. I hope so. Let's go over the trip a little more, which is basically go through, ooh, that looks like I'm just seeing your picture there, Neil, the crash. Okay, what do I want? Let me set this up. We are going to be going just basically, the easiest way to do this is just to go through my iCloud photos. Let me just make sure everything is good for what's going to be on screen. How can I do this? Yeah, there we go. Okay. So that is a decent hole. Yeah. I think everything's good here. Let's do 11. There we go. So this is in Seattle. I flew from Sacramento to Seattle. So that Saturday, I had a 6:20 departure for my flight from Sacramento to Seattle. We went on Delta. This is in Seattle, the plane that we're gonna take from Seattle to Shanghai. And Taylor, Canuck creator Nero, was meeting me in Seattle. So he arrived an hour and a half or 2 hours after I did. And then we had about an hour and a half wait until our plane boarded. So quick picture of the plane that we're gonna be departing on. And then the next picture I took was from my hotel window. So we got into Shanghai. Doc from the Voron team had taken a little different route. He was gonna meet us in Seattle, but there were some storms in the Midwest and he was concerned that it would delay his flight from Atlanta to Seattle. So he took a different route and he went up to Detroit and then straight over to Shanghai. So he arrived an hour or so before we did. And then Luke from Big Tree Tech had arrived the day before, and him and Doc were waiting for me and Taylor there at the airport. So we went from, took a DD, is that right? Their Uber equivalent, their taxi service from the airport to the hotel. So this is outside my window. I want to, yeah, we'll be okay. Just a sign in the... I have an old 65 MG. I just thought it was funny that that MG is a current brand in China. So I took a picture more for my benefit, and I thought it was funny. One thing that shows here though is one of the things that I learned in China is that you buy a car and then you buy a license plate for it. And one of their main methods of encouraging electric cars is if you buy an electric car, then your license plate is free and it's green. It's this white to green gradient plate. If you buy a gasoline powered car, then your license plate, I was told the equivalent of like 5,000 US dollars for a blue license plate. So it seems like there's a big effort to minimize and reduce smog in the cities, and more so in Shenzhen than the other cities. Like in Shenzhen, I was told that they don't allow gasoline cars at certain hours of the day in the city. And you could see there was a little less smog in Shenzhen than Shanghai. And I think Beijing, on my way back, I did a stop in Beijing just in the airport, and it seemed to be a little the worst of the three. We have green license plates for the EVs in the UK. This is the event center. So SECC event center. That's this big clover looking building structure. The TCT Asia was in one lobe of this building. There was a food ingredients show that took up at least two of the others, and I think there might have been another show in the fourth one. Shenzhen is also more coastal. Shanghai is pretty coastal. I mean, because Shanghai is right there on the coast. So this is going up into the main entrance. There's going to be a lot of just random pictures through here. So you try any interesting food? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's anything necessarily completely different than I've ever tried before, but I had some really good food. The first night we went to a Szechuan hot pot place. I'm not a spicy food eater, but it was okay. I can tolerate it to a certain degree. It was good. Yeah, I think we're okay. And then just the TCT Asia entry. There's going to be a few duplicates and extra pictures I took, but this is kind of raw going through. This is Doc and then Taylor. We've got a good picture here in front of leading up to the place. This is the clover design theme. The weather was good. In Shanghai, I had over prepped for the weather. It was probably mid 50s, but I could have gotten away with a long sleeve shirt. Spicy Chinese food is raised with it, yeah. Across from the facility, just some interesting buildings. And then here is just walking in. This is the show. You see Creality there, and then a bunch of other companies right here. I didn't get a lot of pictures within the show. However, me and Doc walked around, and I took my Osmo 3, Pocket 3, and we did a little kind of hit the highlights of things that we liked. So that's an hour video. I will be publishing that because I feel like I can do it without any editing. I'm just gonna put it up there raw. I just need to get it done. I'll try to get that done this weekend. I'll throw it out there for a couple of days for members and then make it public after that. It's a big AMS, yeah, isn't it? Good eye, good eye. I want to be careful because there's one picture I don't want to show in here. I'll post it if anybody wants to see it, but I want to keep the keep it off of the public off the public channel. Hobby Wing, I took a picture of this. This is a gigantic drone. I just thought I've been using Hobbywing brand stuff. These drone motors were pretty large. They were like 4 inches across or more. That's all. That's the only reason I took that picture. I thought it was cool. At the Fetus booth, their LDO had a couple little spots at the Fetus booth. So Rebecca and Daisy from LDO were there along with a few other engineers. So they had a couple of Vorons there, as well as a little positron table that was back here over in this area. I want to just figure out where that picture that I don't want to show is. Give me a second. Okay, it's a little ways. Yeah, let me get back through here. Okay. So, and then this is, shoot, I don't remember names. This is the CEO of Fetus, and then, shoot, I don't know what they go by. Here, I can get names here fairly quick. Aaron and Donald. So their English names, Aaron and Donald. Donald speaks pretty good English. Aaron doesn't speak any English. I don't have one of their new extruders. Daniel and I were thinking about trying to use those on the Tic Tac builds, but it ended up not being a good idea. So that's why we ended up with the Orbiter, because that's what it's designed for. But still the Rapido too. And Fetus sent us those Rapidos too. I did not bring a lot of toys back with me. I didn't. However, the Fetus has those, and other companies, Pouch and stuff, are releasing some 1.5 millimeter pitch stuff intended to be used in our space. Fetus had some of those on display, and I was chatting with them about it, and they said they'd send me a sampling of bits of those to try out. So instead of the 2 millimeter pitch belts, they have a whole collection of 1.5 millimeter stuff that I want to check out and see how it works out. Just a cool metal print. It's a SLM print. How you doing, Sean? And Laura? This was printed on this printer back here that's taller than me. Just a cool print. There's Taylor. Chinese rice wine. Is it rice wine or white wine? This stuff is strong. This is at the Szechuan hot pot place. This stuff is 53% and it burns going down. It was good though. Has anybody had this? Has anybody had this? This can't make me look fat. That's one of the, this is definitely that Darth Vader is one of the thinner style, like the animation style Darth Vaders. You've had some? Yeah. Strong stuff, huh? There's a label on it. Just a sip. Yeah. We're pretty good. Busy day. Helped my mom move into a condo close to us. Nice. Moved to Massachusetts from Nevada. Wow. What's going on? Oh no, you're fine. So this was the hot pot place. So Doc, Taylor, Claire from E3D. So I've ran into Claire on at least 3 different continents now. Me. This is Eric, the Big Tree Tech CEO. Joshua, one of the founders of E3D. B and Luke. And Luke works for Big Tree Tech, and that's his wife. And they are from South Africa. Soda. So that was the picture I did not want to show, and I'm annoyed that I let myself. that was very funny though. That last picture, it was a mystery. And with the old style pull tab. This is out of my hotel window again. You can rewind, but I didn't want that to show. I didn't want to prompt any questions from any younger viewers. I'm actually very annoyed that I forgot and let it through. It tasted fine. I didn't notice anything. So this type building was all over the place. I'm assuming some apartment buildings, but this exact style was all over the place. About this height, about this density, little clusters of them all over the place. So, without going into too much, at least 95% of the time when they were showing off powder or filament pellets, they were showing them in those containers. And we're really curious if it's known, if it's a thing. So, anyway, more pictures from outside my hotel room. This snuck in here because while I was gone, one of my friends here locally said this was posted on their local, this is in the Sacramento area, RC crawler page. Someone's looking if anybody knew who this was, and I just thought it was hilarious that their friend from wherever place was looking and wondering who this was, and I thought it was funny. This is Rebecca from LDO and a couple of their engineers. You seen this, man? Exactly. I tried to join the group. They wouldn't let me join. They asked, what's your favorite RC manufacturer? And I put 3DSets. So I think they might have taken offense to that or something. Just an interesting delta. I thought the suspended extruders, dual extruders was interesting. I don't remember what booth this was at. Yeah, wrong answer apparently. So after the show, so that's basically the end of the show pictures. I didn't take a whole lot because Doc and I went around and did a video. Like I said, I'll get that posted and you'll see a lot more of the show that way. We headed into more Central City, the Bunt area, Bunt area of Shanghai. So I just took a bunch of pictures kind of going in. So I'd take a picture of something that was interesting and then find a better view of it later. So you'll see a lot of kind of repeats here. The Bund, there we are. Thank you. The tallest building, and then a very stylized, some really stylish, cool buildings through here. I don't think there's any other pictures I care about, so we'll be good from here. So I'm just gonna say Traxxas and get laughed at. I like Traxxas, but I know how I'd get laughed at. Yeah, I've had some Traxxas stuff. It's all fine. Oh, Park and Grand Hyatt hotels. I've stayed in both. Nice. Just this whole area here. So I like this picture. So we ended up going up Pearl Tower here. This is from the other side. This is where we basically were dropped off, walking through here, and we ended up taking the ferry. This is on the ferry going through. And walking along. the wording and oops, it's not gonna work well. Okay. Zooming in does not work. All-time favorite cities. Nice. This is Shanghai, yeah. So please pay attention to consumption trap. So they're basically talking about people who are trying to get you to pay for their unofficial or maybe even not legit tours and things, scams, exactly. So, but the wording I thought was funny. Pictures of the various buildings and stuff. Did you use Google Translate through your phone camera at all? Really, no, I didn't end up needing to. Well, like towards the end a couple of times, but not much, because we had Rich. So of the Big Tree Tech team, of course Luke was amazing, and Luke and B, but Rich and Sia is their event organizer, and she was absolutely fantastic with getting us rides and places to go and places to eat. We went to that Szechuan hot pot place. We did do a American style barbecue place. Wouldn't have necessarily been my first choice, but I was along for the ride. We were looking for a good place for some brews, and they had a good selection of a good tap room there, and the food was delicious. So went to that. She led us around and got us. She's the one that planned out this little trip we're showing pictures of now, and then where we went on Thursday morning, the little older village shopping area of town. So, and then Rich was he was there the whole time, very fluent English, lived in the US for a long time, and it wouldn't have been as the same trip without him. Excuse me. And then you didn't see very many modified cars there, so I had to grab a picture for my friends. And apparently, like, most of what you can get away with are appearance modifications. You can't get away with performance modifications over there. There's the Pearl Tower we're about to go up. Better picture of that building. So the Pearl Tower is 351 floors. I took this picture before I actually figured out where more information was, and I think it's here. So more information here. It's 351 meters, I should say. 351 meters to the space, what was that? Space capsule sightseeing floor. And then there's a transparent observatory at 259 meters. This is the only elevator I have ever been on where I had to pop my ears on the way up. And this is a view from, I think this is the 263 meter spot. All the way up at 351 you could get to, but the windows weren't good for taking pictures. I couldn't get a good picture through them. There were more portals, like space capsule theme. But I got a bunch of pictures from different angles, so that's basically what most of these pictures are going to be, is just walking around this whole floor, getting pictures of different parts of the city from different angles. So we'll just kind of skim through these for the most part. Down, this is down to the, that's an Apple store right there. And bottle opener building elevator goes from the ground floor to something in the 90s in a few minutes. Yeah. Wasn't that building also shown on like Batman, one of the Batman movies, one of the newer ones with, what's his name? Not newer, but the Batman Rises or something like that. Oh, that was in Hong Kong? Oh, okay. Someone else was saying it was that one, so I haven't seen those movies enough to know. Just another angle. It goes out. I like Taylor's description, as you can see all the way out to the render distance. It's not a Apple store, it's the Apple store. I thought that was in Cupertino. Excuse me. Perfect. It is a perfect description, isn't it? I love it. And I give him all the credit for coming up with that. Cool bridge in the background there. Bunch of pictures through here. And we were up there. We were perfect timing because we saw it full daylight, and we were up there for the sunset, and we were up there for after dark building light shows. So I tried to get some good pictures of the sunset, pictures down at the, trying to get, I mean, the sun, you can look right at it through the smog. That building was cool. This is the building that I thought was the one. This is the bottle opener building, right? This is cool because this has some structure around the core. And I don't know, is that for like wind management? And probably a stylized thing too, but. More pictures there. I'm trying to get back to a little bit of both, yeah. Trying to get back to getting a good sunset picture. So you'll see a lot of these. And I think Taylor also said the sun just kind of, it's not set, but it disappears because the because of the smog. At a certain point. Yeah, that one's kind of cool. Helps with wind resistance. What are you guys doing? You guys gonna go for it? Ooh, look at those flat ears. And you can see the sun kind of disappearing there. And we're starting to see the lights come on. Lights going up the. Kind of stuff. All the buildings just start lighting up. Some of these are videos, some of them aren't. Here we go. Buildings turning on, yep. I love Shanghai. Then the transparent deck. I am not a fan of heights. I'm pretty comfortable at stable heights. Turns out when you add a transparent floor, I don't feel like that. My internal being, my internal, all that is me, decides that's not the funnest place to be. I forced myself to go out on there, but I was not comfortable. This is at the 251 meters, I think. You'll see a picture here of me, and you can see the discomfort on my face here in a bit. It's not a video, but I think I got a video of some of these. But I tried to get as many pictures going through this scratchy floor as I could. I'm on the edge here. I haven't actually stepped out onto there yet. You can see the tip of my toe there. I haven't actually stepped. I'm working myself up to it. Here we go. This is cool. Cool lights. And here I am out there. A little further. Welcome to Shanghai. Graphics on the buildings are cool. It's such a fun thing. There we go. That's B. That's Luke's wife. Oh, get in there. Oh, shoot. I am not comfortable. I've got my hand there on the rail. Yep. Oh, there's the bund. Nicely lit up. Rapidly gaining engineering knowledge. Yep. Oh, here's another. Some of the glass made it hard to focus, but they turned out pretty good. Not a good time. No. And there, I'm back down on safe ground. See ya, Bob. Have a good one. So, little pearl tower at night. And then a little closer view of that building with its kind of superstructure around it. We went to a brewery that night. Pretty good. I had a flight of many of these. Grand Slam was really good. I'm not typically an IPA fan, but that IPA wasn't hoppy. It was really actually quite good. And the darker, the toast and the nitro ale here were pretty good. My flight. Yeah, some of those were pretty potent. I grabbed this picture. I didn't realize I'd see so many stores. The Huawei store. I have a friend at work who laments over his old, as he referred to it, his Hawaii phone. So I got a picture of that for him. So this is a little older little area, a little shopping and little district here. And we did a lot of walking through here, different shops. I bought a teacup for my wife, little ceramic teacup with a stamp on the bottom. So it wasn't expensive. It was like $3. It was 20 RMB. McDonald's. Mm-hmm. But this will just be a lot of pictures going through here. Do we have Chinatown? Do they have Englishtown? But lots of food, lots of offers for food. I think the most unique thing I saw going through here was centipede. Was that the brew house in Zintilandi? It was something cat. There was a cat theme to the name. Oh, we don't see see the meow meow. Don't see the name there. Going through just a bunch of little shops like this, and some of it was a little more more crowded, narrower than others. Smaller shops, bigger shops. But just a lot of this little waterways through here and bridges going over it. Basically no rails on the bridges. No OSHA there. Or whatever the equivalent would be. Yeah, see, it's so low. This is Rich. I think that's the first picture I have of him in here. Just Lots of miscellaneous pictures through here. There's the cat bar. Rails for toddlers, yeah. See, that's the one that I thought was a Maine Coon. It might be. Lots of cute kitties. Got my petting the kittens fix. There was also a golden retriever there that was adorable. Very much like the pets. Axolotls. Statue in front of a temple thing. Sweater on the Sphinx, yeah. And a cool mural thing. Carving. Temple. Now this was funny. I know Taylor covered it a little bit, but this next picture, this is the second picture. I don't have a copy of the first picture yet, but this lady here, I was going to get a picture somewhere around here of this temple, and she saw me and she got all excited and wanted a picture. And so I got a picture with her, and it was a big funny thing. And so we took more pictures and started walking away, and she comes running up to me and asks if we could get a picture with her friends. So I come over, I bring everyone else over, but they were very excited to get a picture with me, and I got to assume the beard. But it was very, very fun, very funny. Just kind of going the vibe of the little shopping area. More of that. It was. It was a really cool place to be. It was nice to walk through. This is that same temple from across the waterway. Lucky cat. Side of the area. There's more building pictures. And then more just along traveling. So we're heading over to the bullet train. So after that, we got on the bullet train, and next pictures will be a lot of pictures from that. Pictures and videos of the countryside. Just trying to get a picture of it. It was super smooth. That's Sia. So, and that's Rowan. They're both Big Tree Tech. This is random person. But then just a bunch of pictures from the train of the countryside and things. You'd go along and there'd be nothing, and then out in the distance there'd be a outcropping of skyscrapers. Just trying to get some and more of those the same style apartment or whatever buildings, residential buildings. It reached a maximum of 350 kilometers per hour. Most of the time when I looked, it had a scrolling info screen that had speed on there. Most of the time when I noticed that, it was right in the 310 kilometers per hour range. I want the unit in millimeters per second. Were there many solar panels? Not out here, not that I really saw. There's an interesting building there. Just random. No idea what it is. A couple of pictures of it. Another, looks like an elephant. Looks like an elephant to me. And then we went across a place where there was like a motocross track right next to the thing, and little residential area, and then a lot of areas that were like obviously like buildings crumbling, A couple of areas that looked like they just weren't populated. Another interesting, I don't know if this is like a radar tower. Where I grew up, we had a Air Force base across the street that had one of the radar facilities there with the panels surrounding the dish that's in there or whatever. This looked very similar to that, just much taller. Some more modern skyscrapers back there with more of these apartment style. It's like a weather Doppler, could be, maybe for weather. Giant golf, yeah. Then getting into a little hill here. I tried to get pictures, but we were going through lots of tunnels through here, so it was hard to tell when you were going to be able to get a picture. Getting close to the end of what I could get because it's going to get dark here before too long. But tried to get a few things. And then back. So we're in Shenzhen here. So getting off into Shenzhen. This has got to be the next day because we were into, I didn't see any wildlife now. We were into, we got into Shenzhen at night. It was about 10:30. It's pretty late when we got in there. Starting like the night we were at the Pearl Towers when I started to feel this crud in me building up. And I was really worried there at first because it was just a itch in my throat. And I'm thinking, oh crap, am I getting sick? But at no point did I really, I never had any chills or feverish stuff. So I gotta assume it was all just nasal irritation, sinus irritation. But this is Shenzhen. I don't know if this, I don't know where I took these from. I don't know if it's from my hotel. This is Big Tree Tech headquarters. Yeah, the render distance long, yeah. Big Tree Tech headquarters, BQ. I didn't get anything inside here. It was just an office, rows of desks with people's desk messes, little R&D area, which I didn't want to film anyway, get any pictures of anyway. Otherwise, it wasn't anything really special, and Taylor was doing a full video in there, so I didn't really want to duplicate any of that. So, but I did get a lot of stuff at the next place. So this is Friday, next morning, and I'm feeling like crap this day, like horrid. But we got to their PCB fab facility, which is about an hour away from their headquarters. Any upcoming products? The big thing that they've got going on is the Vivid. That was as far as other upcoming things. Not really, and that's not, I couldn't even think of something that I couldn't tell you right now. I'm sure they have stuff, but it wasn't really a thing. I remember TIAC. TIAC was, what was it, floppy drives and stuff back in the day. Now they do a lot of audio equipment and stuff, is that right? Little ISO 9001 sign there, but mostly I'm just getting a picture in the area. Tape players. But didn't they do floppy drives and CDs and stuff for computers? I remember TIAC being a big thing when I was working at a computer store. Test equipment. We've got TIAC reel-to-reel. Various things. This one was actively testing power cords. They're basically there, and it's just rotating back and forth to test the bend tolerance. They did old hi-fi amps receivers too. Yeah. I was never into that. I was always into the computer stuff, so that's where I know them from. So this is interesting. This is all their SMD component racks, and spent a little bit of time going over their inventory management. You cannot go in here and pull CD-ROM drives, yeah. The computer stuff was them trying to stay in business, got it. You cannot pull anything off of this without checking it out. And if you accidentally pull something off, you can't put it back unless you check it back in, confirming that it goes into that spot. You gotta imagine, SMD components are not well labeled on them, if at all. And if you screw anything up here, then that's big problems in your manufacturing line. So there is a lot of effort put into making sure that things are in the exact space so that you know exactly what you're getting, exactly what you're going to be putting into your pick and place machines and stuff. I think this was, gotta think this was the walking through little air thing, but I don't remember exactly. I don't remember why I took that picture. It was more of the stuff there, our little get-ups that we had to wear. You got the same thing for your filament, right? Used to work at one, we would lecture students about trying to put books back in themselves. Yeah, dust abatement, yeah. I mean, I feel like that's fairly stylish there. That doesn't look too bad, right? I was surprised it fit my big head. I don't remember what this was. It's a oven or what? Or something. This was kind of cool. This whole thing. We'll get a couple of picture things here. One of these is a video.
Just receiving the, like,
so this is taking chips. I don't know, remember if these were STMs or RP2040s, but it's pre-flashing them. Putting full firmware on them on the raw component before they even get put on a board.
Instead of doing the firmware later, now you've got all of these already programmed. Put them SMD straight. And the way it will,
yeah.
If there's a failure with the programming,
those are the failed ones that they have to go back and see what's going on.
try again.
I thought it was neat. It didn't really occur to me that they would pre-flash everything, because there's no reason not to, right? So as long as all the data that's stored on chip. Surprised I didn't have, I thought about that too, Ranch Kid. I didn't say anything, and they didn't say I needed one. So this is a fiber laser marking chips. This is X-ray inspection. Yeah, just open, yeah. Then we get into the S&D line. So pick and place machine. Is that a video? Yeah. I'm for this in, oh, there we go. That's what I need to do to zoom in. I gotta use the in page thing. This isn't actually Big Tree Tech components here, I don't think. They run CCTV stuff through this line as well. So coming from into the pick and place, this is all pick and place stuff. What speed in Excel's? Yes. You put your hand there, it's your fault. I was talking to Daniel about that. It's not necessarily going to burn you. Just kind of waving your hand in there isn't a huge danger, especially because you're not at where it's focusing. If you put your hand down at the bottom, I guess you might something, but Daniel seemed to think that it wasn't quite as dangerous as you might think. Hey, zombie. Just more, oh.
Yeah, you've got some pretty
more pick and place stuff.
Engineering going on there. To move that mass, that's
Cheek tattoos, yeah. components going through, and then this is their infrared reflow or flow soldering. This is the gradient on this is, I saw that, Steve. I did see that pop up. The gradient on this is such that they can run a batch through and then flip it over and flow the other side without having components fall off the bottom. They can do two-sided through here because the temperature control is fine enough. They do manufacture BTT boards, and we'll see some of those. But these lines, they're not necessarily owned by BTT. BTT pays for time on them, I guess, or however the arrangement works. They have their own area here for packaging and all that kind of stuff, but the lines themselves are used by many companies. Contract manufacturer, yeah. This is another board this is one of the CCTV stuff. They weren't running, the lines that we were looking at weren't running stuff, but here's some SKR minis. So here are some Big Tree Tech boards that are running through. Bunch of octopi. Oilers. What did you see? Oilers. Oh, yeah, apparently some lubrication for the thing, I'd imagine. Basically everything but the through-hole components. All the SMD stuff. Then we'll get into here in a minute. It's more, yeah, the through-hole stuff is being done here now. So they have these jigs, put in all the through-hole stuff, and then there's a cover that goes on here because the next station here is a wave soldering station. And that runs like it sounds, a wave of solder along the bottom of the board to solder all these through-hole components in. They also have ways when they need to target soldering. So she's putting the components in, and then there's a cover that goes on here to hold things in place so that it goes through. And I tried to capture this when it was taking a board through, but one didn't come through at the right time. But this is the wave solder station.
I think one actually just went over. Yeah. Yeah, you'll know when a board's coming. It preheats.
We weren't there long enough to see it. And then we're back in the packaging and stuff area. A bunch of Eddie Duos. Oh, there's the cases behind there. This is what they seem to be packaging most on this particular day. And they were also assembling these extruders. CNC taps. More. And then just kind of folding up boxes and labeling, and I had to get a picture of a video of this. I mean, get the duck, get the rubber ducky in there. Packaging up Eddie Duos with rubber duckies. As to see, even they can have trouble with getting these boxes back together. Squatty potties. I was fortunate to always be able to find a traditional Western toilet when I needed one. Hey, Iconic Fab. So the only reason I took this picture is that I told you I was feeling like crap this day, and I was blowing my nose enough that I gave myself a bloody nose. So I was sitting here in the bathroom, kind of trying to take care of that, get it to stop bleeding. So nobody was in there. I took an opportunity to get a picture. And on the way out, just this is just materials, but I saw the ABS, PC, PS. It's another area. This is just down the street from the PCB fab. Those are also in Europe. They are not for number one only. They are not. That's a squatty. You squat. Everything. Yep. Building. We did, as we were driving through here, we had two very large drones fly by. Same pattern. Fly by. I didn't get it. I couldn't get a good picture. They were too far away. I think Taylor got a better picture of them. They were meant to be way better for you. I agree. Yeah. That is supposed to be a better position for you. Yeah. I've heard that. I wasn't gonna risk it. Catfight Brewing. Ooh. It's just the drive back. Making a ski slope in the distance there. Building a ski slope. And I'm not kidding, actually is. Classy kiss. I was gonna say, you gotta have good knees to use those. I'm just out in the distance, just more pictures. This is Big Tree Tech's warehouse. You can look at the look on my face. I'm tired of blowing my nose. We did get a kind of a pick if we needed anything. We were able to go through and kind of check out and take with us. Most of what I wanted wasn't there, so I'll have a shipment coming to me for a few things that would be nice to check out. I did grab a few things. We can go through them towards the end of this. This is that building from the outside. It's just middle of nowhere, and this is just rows of bins of inventory. It was like the 4th or 5th floor is what that was on. Then we had a more of like a dim sum style dinner that night. Your asteroid. Oh. Oh, I just took a picture of that just to get more of the can.
Is that corn juice? No, that's orange juice.
It was pretty good. Dinner here. It was tasty. Everything was good. I didn't have anything that I didn't like. I did grab the head. I didn't know I did, but I did. Calamari. This is the view from my hotel in Shenzhen. So I was on the 22nd floor. And then we're heading off to this is Saturday, we're heading off to the Shenzhen markets. No duck feet. No, that didn't come to the table. And then in the market area, just pictures of the area. With the eyes open. Walking through. That's how the bottles you used to be green. Ah. And this is inside. So this is one of the, there was definitely a difference. There was some that was a little more retail style and some that was very much walking the aisles of AliExpress. A lot of this type of stuff, a lot of chargers. This, blow dryers, fans was a big thing. Almost talked myself into buying a DJI drone just for fun, but it wasn't enough of a deal to make it worth it. But lots of camera stuff, that kind of stuff. It would be dangerous to my wallet. Yeah, just floors of stuff. All quality gear, yeah. Definitely we got to know what you're looking at and what you're buying, right? Or outside. Did you get to the corner where they had the really big DJI agricultural drones? No, I don't think so. For Chinese Pepsi. This was delicious. This is just in the mall there. Just noodles. I go in those shops too. You can get significant discounts. Yeah. Hey, Morden. Just trying to get the ambience, just pictures. This is an elevator we took. This was it. This was taking the elevator to the hotel bathroom that had toilets I was used to. But it was a good view of the area through it was on the corner of the building. One of these buildings out here, I don't remember which it was. It's like what was it? Anycubic? Or what was the other? It was something. I don't remember which one though. But Eric or not Eric, but Rich or Luke pointed it out. More in the market, and this was just some of the market was more like this. Some of the market was very much more like this, just stuff. And I don't know if they think that this is just a display or if this is stuff that's actually for sale or what. Little DC motors, there's high Picos in here. Yeah. Didn't inspire confidence in me to want to shop at this place, but and then the only 3D printer we saw outside of the show. I have no idea what this is. But I got a few pictures of it. Very dusty is what it is. There's a better picture over here. Life never stop. English okay. Interesting little thing. Looks like a little plate storage or something over here. I don't know. It looks somewhat modern. Doesn't look like it's very old. This isn't what you were talking about, was it, Randy? There was this store out front that had these full-size, like people-size drones. These were actual motors. The one next to it didn't have actual motors. These weren't real. This is a sprayer drone. Oh, okay. Little automated air hockey. Thing. This was outside in something we walked through. This little, I got a picture of the subway map. And then the sunset in Shenzhen. Get more. I did get the sunset in every city I was in. Kind of cool. This was the food place at, this was the last night, and this was super nice. Go through some of this. This peach oolong tea was delicious. I drank a lot of that. And I don't remember what particular beer this was, but it was good. I don't know if that's what it was or... this is... they call it abalone. I don't know. Abalone, and then the prawns there, the shrimp things are for the kids. But the abalone was moving. These little whatever kind of shrimp were really good, especially with lime. Mommy. And they're cooking some garlic and oil, and I'm assuming seasoning the grill for what's coming up, because they didn't actually use this garlic until the very end. Cod. Crayfish. Cod with some zucchini and mushroom. This was really good. Many course, many little things. With all the bones out. Oh, and then prepping those. Yeah, those were, Eric, the Big Tree Tech owner, his daughters were there, the 5 and 6. They were adorable. It was a hot sushi. It's basically duck liver with rice and stuff. It was good. Supposed to eat it all in one bite, kind of get the mixture of flavors as you bite into it. You look close. Those are being cooked now. They were really good. The little presentation of the meal here. Let's see one of those pop. Very fresh. Very fresh, but they had to do their little show.
On fire.
They called it abalone. And so the first part of the meal was all fish based, and the second part of the meal was beef. Shell's still on, extracting his mouth really quick. Oh. This was where the garlic and green onion and kind of rolled it up in the beef, and this was delicious. They are being cooked alive. Yes. It's a mollusk. Is that right? And then he's making homemade or fresh made fried rice here. So. And then having fun, of course.
Oh, Mickey! Oh, Mickey!
It was very entertaining. It was a great meal. And then one of Eric's daughters. Very adorable. It was Taylor's birthday, so that's a sign in the back. Formed into hearts for us. More chef fun. That's a egg rolled up, but shot that right over to Doc's plate. Doc was sitting to my left. This was delicious. It was just bread with butter and sugar, but grilled on the grill there. It was nice and caramelized. And I am a big fan of creme brulee. And this was coffee creme brulee. And then some chocolate ice cream. Yep. Haley's birthday. He was a good sport. That's Eric and his wife. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Birthday cake. And all the stuff. Yep, and then after that we went to a club. And this was loud, very loud, but it was a good experience. It was fun. We were in a VIP booth, which was nice. Lots of beer. Just kind of, there was a big variety of stuff going on there. Live dancing, live music, live singing, all the stuff. I think you can hear that, right? Yeah, you can hear that. Was this a video? No, that was just a picture. Hey, clubbing nice again. Yeah, this was not great. By this time, so after the PCB factory tour, we found a pharmacy and I got some proper Tylenol cold with pseudoephedrine in it, and that was 100% better the next day. I was still dealing with this sinus congestion, but I felt fine. It was so much better. But there was smoke in the club here that was kind of annoying. And this is the outside. Please stay happy. Be aware of music and YouTube. Well, that's true. But this is a members only. We'll see. I can always cut it out. Good point though. What in the world? Why did I get a second picture there? Huh. Yeah, skip that. Why is that going through that again? I just got some pictures of the hotel room. They all came with slippers and robes, which was nice. Little emergency kits and a flashlight. Another picture of the view from my, I think I had forgotten that I had gotten one before. Then we're heading back to the airport. That was the end of the trip. I've got a few more pictures here we'll go through. But this van was super nice. These were little touchscreens to control the chairs here with, I think with massagers and everything in them. Little trays. This was a super nice van. And this is Shenzhen Airport, which is this is just the check-in area. Really cool. These ceilings were really high, and yeah, they weren't phones. They were touch screens for each passenger. Little touch controllers. There's my. So I flew back. So Doc and Taylor flew back on the same Delta flight going from Shenzhen to Seoul to the US. I flew because my flight was booked later and that flight was full. I went back via United, which then was Air China to Beijing to San Francisco. So that's my Air China plane I'm waiting for. And this is this is Shenzhen Airport still, but this is past security and cool display, and it was just cool in there. Lots of shops. I ended up buying this pen there. I thought it was cool. It's a Year of the Snake fidget pen. That metal part there spins on a bearing. It wasn't that expensive. It was like $40 US, about 300 RMB. The Air China airplane was the most ridiculously stupid media controls I've ever seen though. This was on the armrest next to my hip. I barely got a picture of this, and this is how you controlled getting to movies and stuff on it. It was horrible. And then I think this is once we landed in Beijing, and this is the Beijing airport. Lots of shops here in Beijing, but most of them were closed. Render distance was not as far in Beijing. So ranking render distances, Beijing, then Shanghai, then Shenzhen, as far as distance. Hey, Jose. This was in the Beijing airport. It was Gikago. Goose Island, I've had their stuff before. I figured I had the Angel Goose here. It was good. But while I was waiting, I had a beer there. That's the Angel Goose. And there's my plane I'm going to be leaving on. And then at the far western end of the airport was a nice spot with just a big glass wall that I could get a picture of the sunset. So the many pictures here are me just trying to get cool pictures of planes going in front of the sunset. So that's what all these are, is just trying to get a cool picture. Planes taking off with the sunset and the tower there. It's just, I had to do something to pass the time. So that was what I did. So I thought there was some pretty cool shots. A lot of stuff just taking off right there. And I'll just skim through most of these, but yeah, you can look right there at the sun. So then that's it. So this is Korea from the air. I looked at the map where we're at, and we also passed over Japan, but I didn't see that. There's another picture from the air. That's it. So my flight back, I ended up, I didn't book my flight. Big Tree Tech booked the flight. My flight back was scheduled to get into San Francisco. So listen to this, Bill. I get into San Francisco at 4:10. I got into San Francisco. My next flight to Sacramento, the 58-minute flight to Sacramento, was at 11. A 7-hour layover in San Francisco, an hour and 45 minutes from my home. So even before going on the trip, I had planned I was going to take the train. I was going to get the train over to, so from BART from the airport to Richmond, and then jump on the Amtrak to Sacramento. And that would have been I would have been home at about 8:30. But I had got my BART ticket, got down there, and I'm looking at the schedule, and it's already delayed. And in order to get home at 8:30, I only had a 7-minute buffer getting to Richmond and getting on the Amtrak train. And I still had 22 stops on BART in San Francisco from there. I thought my chances were pretty low. So I ditched that idea and went looking for the Uber and Lyft section. Got there and was looking at rides. So airport to Richmond was about $100 Uber ticket. I figured, that's way better. Make sure, then that puts me there with about a 45-minute buffer to jump on the Amtrak to be able to get home at 8:30. And then I was looking, I got the idea, okay, well, what's it take to get all the way home from San Francisco? And I went with it. It was a $192 Uber ride, but to get all the way home. And that was, I booked it, and the first guy accepted it, and I saw who it was and what vehicle it was, and then it went back to searching. So someone denied it, and that's no problem. I don't blame them. But the next guy that took it and did it. So, and then I saw the guy that denied it, and I was gonna have some fun with him and tell him I don't blame you, but I didn't. The guy who did take me was very nice. I gave him a very, very, very good tip. But I got home at 7:15, about 6 hours before, about 6 hours before I would have been home anyway. So, but Bill, you're probably at least an hour drive from where you are down to the airport, right? I did fly over Santa Rosa. I did see as we were flying over that. I waved, but you didn't see me. But on our way, if I had taken if the first Uber person had accepted the thing, it would have put me right in, potentially in an accident that we came up on I-80. We came up, perfect timing. We came up, stopped traffic right at an off ramp. We were there for a few minutes, and CHP were coming in. An accident had just happened. They were coming in, diverting people off that off ramp, loudspeaker saying, if you can take the off ramp to the frontage road. We were able to get over there and get on, and then, but we went past. There was a car that did many rolls. It was not good, but that would have happened right about when I would have been going through with the previous driver. So, you ever get any meals delivered to your hotel? The first night we were there, they did order in, but our order was too big for their little automated robot. But we did see that both hotels had little autonomous or whatever robots for room service deliveries and stuff. Yes. I forgot to mention that. So, where are we at? So that was my trip. That was my trip. Things that I brought back. We can go over quick things. I don't know that I want to take the time to go through any of them, but I didn't bring back much. The pen, that's the pen. It's kind of fun. Thought it was worth it. This is the case for the T65 soldering iron. Someone in China, one of the Voron fans there, had 2 of these, which I'm gonna play with, but it is a filament connector. They weren't selling them, they weren't asking for any, I don't think they're available here, but they were gonna give me 2 of these. I gave one of them, redirected one of them to Taylor, but it is basically kind of like the Sunlu filament joiner. It's an interesting thing here, but it's very little heater in there. Play around with this. Got a little thing of the PTFE for joining them. Might play around with this on a stream sometime. But I don't know what that says. I'll have to look it up. That I brought power supply, stuff like that in here. It's all in a little 3D printed holder. And yeah, you all rated. And then at the Big Tree Tech thing, I went and grabbed one of these Panda Edges because they're kind of neat. Scrapers for build plates. For fairly sharp. Grabbed one of those at Big Tree Tech. Then grabbed some of their build surfaces. Wood is an interesting choice, yep. I got, this is, I don't think this one's released yet, but this is for the Mark IV or Core 1. So, cryo grip sheet. I like trying different build sheets, so. Got that, and then the bamboo one is the closest to a 250 size. I got one of those, and then this and a 300 size one. So We'll try some of these. I hear they work really, really well. So. Great for PLA, no more warping. Awesome. That would be really handy. Some of these RC parts, the 3D set stuff, you really do have to pay attention to some of the thinner parts if they warp up on the edges. I ran into a lot of that on the Sakura. I reprinted several parts because before I got a bed adhesion strategy that worked well. Cloud 42 reviewed those. Yeah. So, that was almost 4 hours, and we didn't do much on this. We got wiring done, and that's a big part. That is a big part. A lot of time wiring on this, but tomorrow we will be with Daniel will be on stream, and we are going to continue the Tic Tac build. So we'll get quite a ways on that, and then we'll continue with that on his stream on Wednesday. So after this, I'm going to get that thumbnail and schedule for the stream tomorrow. So get upgraded one of your printers to Galileo stuff. Thinking about Galileo extruder and G2Z. Yeah, I run the Galileo 2 extruder on a couple of printers, Martin, and I'm very pleased with it. The G2Z XL works really well as well. I've got the Galileo 2 and the G2Z XL on my blue V2, and I'm very happy with it. It works fine. I cannot tell you that the G2Z XL is significantly better than just the reference Z drives. The G2Z XL does sag less than anything else I've tried though. So that's the benefit, is it doesn't sag as much. So, yeah, I think that's it. So thank you all. Thank you all for being members. And I hope to see you on stream tomorrow. Like I said, I'm going to try at some point this weekend to get that walkthrough with me and Doc out there published. So that'll go out to you guys first, and then it'll go public in a couple of days after that. So with that, thanks again. Have a good rest of your day, and hope to see you tomorrow. Enjoy the build, everyone. Bye.